I didn't understand why the market was going up because we had so much negative news. Finally, people are getting to their senses and shit is selling off. And that's when Howie likes to go in and buy it and bank fatties.
Entertainment purposes only. You'd be an idiot to listen to anything these degenerates say. Invest at your own risk, do research, but seriously don't listen to these ass clowns. Now enjoy Cash Daddies.
Oh, snaps. We're in it. Welcome to Cash Daddies. We're banking fatties back in the saddle with the boys. The boys joining us from WeWork. Johnny, Woodard, and Carl.
What up?
And guy with the new cool progressive haircut. He doesn't understand. He doesn't care what gender you are and what bathroom you're using. Howie, Dewey.
I'm in all the bathrooms, baby. All of them.
I love it, buddy. I love it. I love you. I love everybody. Good to be back. How was your week, guys?
Good week. Good week, man. The Patreon boys had a profitable week. We made a comeback, man. We bought this volatility index, Sam, and we bought it at $3.77 2 weeks ago.
Dang.
It dropped right off the bat. It dropped to 266.
And then you were sad.
And we bought more. We bought
snaps.
More. And we sold it today at $4.02. We ended up crushing it. And it's amazing. We got close to 400 patrons. And, it dropped. We dollar cost average, bought more. And there's always a couple guys like, we're screwed. This thing's going to zero. We're so screwed. I hope you guys didn't sell that shit, man.
I hope you guys didn't either. I hope you guys never questioned Howie Dewey.
If you held it and you listened to Howie, you would have banked nicely. Really banked nicely.
Fatties.
Fatty. Monday we bought Amazon calls. We bought Devon Energy calls. We sold them yesterday. Sold all the Devon Energy, banked 35%. Sold half of the Amazon calls, which I'm glad we did because it was up and it was way down today. We bought more Amazon today, and we bought Apple today because both of them took a beat down.
Apple took a beat down?
Apple took a beat down. Apple, which is, pretty much the designated stock for the NASDAQ. Apple in 1 week is down from 179 to 172. We bought it today when it was around. We bought calls on it when it was like 170, 160. So we're actually up. If we get a dead cat bounce tomorrow, baby, which I think we will, we're going to bank again. So, look, the market's dropping. Howie said it was going to drop. I said last week we're going to drop 5 to 10%, and it's happening.
And it is all doom and gloom. If you go on the news sites, it is all doom and gloom.
That's what you want. You want doom and gloom. You want guys panicking. What are we going to do?
Yeah.
Everything's you're going to fucking buy. That's when you get greedy and go in and buy. When the world's coming to an end, you buy. When everything's going good and everyone's making tons of money and everyone knows everything, everyone's an expert, then you sell. Look, we've been saying this shit for 2 years. And what do? We bank. So you watch Amazon, you watch Apple, which we bought today. I think we're going to have a good week, man. Today was awesome.
Well, I love it, Howie. Howie, why does a company like Amazon or Apple, why would they go down in this time?
Well, they're down basically because of the overall market. What you have right now, you got a few things going. You got interest rates are high. You still have inflation. Oil is going to $100 a barrel. So if you're a Patreon member, you hold OIH or XLE, you're happier than shit. Your stocks are going to end up paying for your gas. We got to make money somehow. You got that. You got high interest rates. You got inflationary pressures. And you got this government shut down where they can't get the budget together. And that's not huge because this has happened in the past. It won't really affect the market too much if they do shut down. So you got those guys in Congress fighting. You have a lot of negative shit right now, but I said the last couple of weeks, I didn't understand why the market was going up because we had so much negative news. Finally, people are getting to their senses and shit is selling off. And that's when Howie likes to go in and buy it and bank fatties. So,
right on.
One man's loss is another man's gain, baby.
There was an interesting story this week that kind of shows you that while they may pretend to be enemies, they're actually all friends. These huge companies like Apple. Apple went to court this week to defend Google in this huge trial where they could be broken up. I mean, could be the result of this trial that they're facing right now. And it said essentially that Google was a monopoly because they put their search on everything. It was the default browser on iPhone. And Apple came in this week defending them. The essence of their argument was there was no alternative. It was the only thing that could have done what we wanted. So I thought that was kind of funny. I mean, every now and then when shit gets serious, you get a little peek behind the curtain that they're all on the same team.
Well, yeah, for sure. And Apple is a monopoly on phones. They were talking about that on Patrick Bet David. His show, the guy was like, how come Apple, which has 55% of the market, they say 50% is a monopoly. They're at 55% of the market. And based on Black YouTube, I've been listening to Black YouTube, okay? And Black YouTube's been saying that the Android's better.
It is not. I have both. It is not better.
Well, Johnny, you're racist.
There's one reason. No. There's one reason. Why do you really think Apple's supporting the shit out of Google here? And I'll give you 19 billion reasons why. Because that's what Google pays Apple per year. $19 billion. That's not bad rep. No wonder
that's crazy. That number's crazy.
$19 billion a year. Google pays Apple. So that's why Apple's telling the government, no, man, they're not a monopoly. There's no, like Johnny said, there's no other browser. Everyone has to use them. It's by fault. Plus, they pay us $19 billion a year, so please don't fuck with them.
And that 50% number, Sam, that is just they typically will never find that it's a monopoly if it is lower than 50%. That's not the cutoff. It's not like above 50%, it's a monopoly. It's just below that, they don't find that things are monopolies, and above that, they can. You get what I'm saying? It's not a must be. It's a could be above 50%.
Respect.
Speaking of another monopoly, another huge lawsuit coming out. The FTC, Federal Trade Commission, government, they are suing the shit out of Amazon. Suing the hell out of Amazon, basically saying they're a flea market. They're causing prices to go up, unfair practices all across the board. And Amazon basically came back with the double fingers, man, and said, bring it on. Fuck you. We're not a monopoly. We're actually helping the consumer, making it easier for them to shop. So that was going to be interesting. That's part of the reason we bought Amazon today, because Amazon is down. This stock is the beast of the NASDAQ, besides Apple and Google. And Amazon, which we bought last week, we banked on it yesterday. It's down from 139 to 126 in 1 week. Part of the reason it's down is because this lawsuit's hanging over them. Everything I'm reading says the government's going to have a really tough time proving this one. So what do you think, Johnny?
It's interesting. Part of their claim is that Amazon uses the FTC's claim is that Amazon uses these anti-discounting measures. It's basically they have computerized competition. They have taken the algorithm to competition and made it almost impossible for sellers to sell shit anywhere but Amazon, because they have this they have this competitive algorithm that makes it so that Amazon always has the lowest price, and if you want to sell anything, you got to sell it there. But can you imagine a world where Amazon loses this in any meaningful way? Other than a slap on the wrist fine or something like that. I can't. Anybody who does, I think, is dreaming. When's the last time the government did that? Really? And that really hurt a company. Even, they just bent over for the cell phone carriers less than 5 years ago. And that's totally been fantasy what they did for the cell phone carriers, that they were supposed to be a new net that was supposed to be brought up by Dish Network. It makes no sense. The government's always on the wrong side of these things.
Well, if you look at the 90s and the 2000s, I think every 3 years the government was trying to disband Microsoft. That shit didn't work.
Yeah, that was the last one that was kind of significant, though, right? A little bit. They in that something came out of it, but even then, it was meaningless in the long run. It's always just meaningless for these companies.
They say the worst thing that could happen here is that if the government did win, which I don't think they will, that Amazon would be broken up into like 3 different companies. That's probably the worst thing that could happen. I don't see it happening. Amazon's probably got some decent lawyers. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, that's the understatement of the century, Howie. They have some decent. Speaking of lawsuits, by the way, on Amazon, did you see? And this is just a little bit of silliness, but that Jeff Bezos's former housekeeper is suing him, alleging that he made her work 14-hour shifts and that a lack of bathroom access on those shifts gave her frequent urinary tract infections. So that's everybody's facing serious lawsuits this week.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what it was on that ship. Urinary tract infections from not going to the bathroom.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It wasn't Bezos.
When you're rich, man, you get sued a lot.
Yeah.
Because you can just sue anybody for anything.
It
doesn't matter how real the lawsuit is, especially in California.
Totally.
Yeah. So you got a lot of shit. Speaking of California,
frivolous stuff.
It's finally happening, man. These major chains, Dick's, Target, Home Depot, whatever. Target's closing 9 big stores across the country in cities, citing we're leaving, too much violence, too much theft.
I'm totally with you on that. And this has dangerous precedents because, I don't know if precedent's a word, but this could be really bad for a lot of people because what you're seeing in Chicago is there's so many grocery stores that are closing that the city now wants to open up city-ran grocery stores, which is not good for anybody in any way. Mom and pops are gone. And what kind of food is the city of Chicago going to be allowing you to buy?
Can you
imagine? Are you going to get any healthy alternatives? Like it's like this is how they take control of the food supply. And it's just ridiculous. And I know Target is in the grocery store, but this is not good, man. And, I just talked about this on one of my other podcasts, but Gavin Newsom is so obviously going to try to run for president. He just authorized a bill, $260 million to combat shoplifting. And his whole thing is he's trying to do it, but these DAs won't help him. So now he's throwing his own DAs under the bus, saying that they're the reason why crime is so bad. So he just vetoed a bill too. There was a bill that in California, if one parent affirms the gender in a custody battle, that means something. So he just vetoed that bill. I know Howie's haircut is upset about that.
Dude, anything to do with that, I couldn't give 2 shits about, man, because that has nothing to do with my pocket. You want to call your kid fucking girl, boy, alien, who gives a shit? That's, good luck to those parents. I'm sure you'll work it out. Hopefully the kid ends up with a pussy either way. Jeez. We need more of that in this country.
More what?
More pussies.
No, too much. We have too much of that stuff.
Too much dick. We need more pussy. If you got a young boy out there and he's a male, transition that kid to a female. That's what we need. We need more pussy in this country.
Okay. All right. Well, that's the worst take ever on the show. A show full of bad takes. That was probably the worst one. What's the next story? Anybody?
Um,
Did you see Joe Biden made a historic visit to the UAW picket line, the auto workers picket line? And
How'd
you
that
got
go
and then related to that, huge news that Ford is pausing their the progress on their Michigan battery plant, which is that's news that's going to reverberate throughout the industry. I think that was going to be,
Why are they pausing it?
well, I mean, partly because of the strike, I'm sure, but it could be a change in strategy also on EVs. Maybe they're not seeing demand. It's a possibility.
I mean, and it's crazy because Ford was at 15. Now it's down to 12.44. It's probably a good buy here. Whenever you get strikes and you get and you get bad news, like they're having trouble with the charging stations, that's when you want to buy, because they'll get this shit straightened out. But the strikes are the big thing. I mean, hey, they did settle the writers' strike, which means nothing because there's no actors, but
Yeah.
they got that part done.
Here's a weird quote. Now, this is Ford had already started construction on this, and here's their quote: "We haven't made any final decision about the planned investment there. There are a number of considerations. We want to be confident about our ability to competitively operate the plant." So that just tells you what the market conditions changed, right? Demand changed, possibly the relationship with China changed, and all the batteries coming out of China. This was going to be, this was going to be a palatial plant too. I mean, if you look at the diagrams of this thing, it looks like, very modern, tall, skyscraper type thing.
It's new wave, man. They put a lot of money into it. So yeah, I mean, we have a lot of the news you're hearing right now hitting the financial markets. It's domestic. It's weird. Yeah. You haven't heard shit about China in the last week or so.
$3.5 billion that battery plant was slated to cost.
At some point, I'm sure it'll be back on the slate, and they'll be building it. But they got to get these strikes figured out. I mean, the UAW strike, that's huge. That's a big damn strike. Can you imagine if they didn't figure out the UPS thing? This market would be down 20% right now.
Oh, the economy would come to a halt. I mean, it would.
That would have been
a nightmare.
That would have been huge. So yeah, I mean, we had a day where the Dow's down 400, the Nasdaq's down over 200. It's been like this every day for the past 5. This is when you got to go the opposite way. You got to buy puts. You got to buy the VIX. Which is, what we did. We ended up banking on it. So when the market goes down, you actually can still make money. But there's some really good buying opportunities hitting this market right now. I do like Amazon. When a company is about to get sued, sometimes that's the best time to buy it, because it's all the reason the stock's down. It's all factored in.
Oh, so you're saying they already priced in the guys who know all this shit's about to happen anyway? Already priced it in?
Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. So, no, that's what we're doing. We just we cranked on energy last week. I mean, if you have substantial holdings in oil and energy right now, you are happier than shit, because everything is dropping except for oil and energy. I mean, you got this OIH, which God damn it, in 3 months. This is one we bought 2 years ago when we first started the show. In 3 months, this thing's gone from about 280 to 346. I mean, the market's gone down, but oil and energy's gone the opposite. It's gone up. And that's why we always talk about you have to be diversified. We talk about sector rotation. If technology's booming and oil and energy's down, you sell tech, you buy oil and energy. It's fucking XLE, man. XLE was at $79 about a month ago. Now it's at almost 90. So,
damn.
Yeah. I'm looking right now at the 2-year chart. When we bought this thing, it was down around $49. Now it's at 90. So Look, you don't have to buy a sexy sector like tech. You can just buy things that are down, that are good and solid. Companies like Exxon and BP, they're not going anywhere. They're still going to dump oil in the ocean. So you got to buy them. Got to buy them.
Totally. You got Jamie Dimon out here warning about interest rates possibly at 7%. Is that?
Oh, well, Jamie Dimon's got bigger problems.
What do you think?
Chase Morgan just paid out $75 million for helping child sex trafficking. I mean, just unbelievable.
Oh, they're all in that, dude. They all have facilitated that shit.
They basically agreed to pay out.
Yeah, but $75 million, Sam, that's fucking pennies. That's pennies. That's like you getting busted for something and they say you got to pay a quarter. We need a quarter out of you right now. Not 50 cents. We need a quarter. That's about how much. I mean, that's pennies. But with that being said, it hurt the stock. It hurt the stock because that's not good news. Jesus Christ. Nobody wants to hear that shit. Why would an investment bank have to pay out cash for child trafficking and shit like that? Think about that. That's some bizarre shit. But short term, it did. The stock's gone from 150 down to, wow, you know what? The stock dropped 5 points. It dropped 5 points. Year to date, the stock's still up. These fucking big banks, man, they don't get hit.
Should say too that their UK bank is going to ban crypto transactions. JP Morgan's bank in the United Kingdom is going to ban crypto transactions, which is kind of sets him up.
Let's talk crypto for a little bit because, man, this week crypto's been thrown under the bus.
Yeah, I mean it's just insane, and it's also nuts that again, JP Morgan won't allow adult film stars to deposit money in their bank accounts. I mean, this is a group, an institution that has been fucking people forever. Now they don't let the people who fuck on camera put money in their bank. I mean, it is absolutely ridiculous to me.
Sam, explain what you're saying just now. Explain what, because to me that sounds pretty illegal.
No, they can decide who. I think if you look it up, Johnny, I believe it's Chase. They can't decide. That's a publicly traded company. That's got to be against it. You can't discriminate about what someone does for a living. I think they did. They were talking about that. They'll give them X number a month, like 2 months to get their money out of the bank. It's really crazy.
I have
here we go. JP Morgan Chase. This is from 2014. This is from 9 years ago, but let me see. Adult film stars are receiving letters. Hold on. The U.S. porn industry is up in arms after J.P. Morgan Chase appeared to order the closure of accounts of hundreds of adult film stars. Adult film stars received a letter informing them Chase has made the decision to close their accounts on the 11th of May. That's 2014 again. Porn actress Tegan Presley, who holds a Chase account under her legal name, Ashley Ann Erickson, said, "I called them and they told me that because I am, I guess," I love that they put that. "I am, I guess, public and am recognizable in the adult business. They're closing my account." So there you go.
So that happened in 2004. There's no way you can do that. That's against the fucking law. You can't. That is discrimination if I've ever heard it. I mean, if you have a legal job and you're getting paid, they can't tell you can't put their money because it's a publicly traded company. There's no way they could do that.
Let's see. Other banks that have done this have said it was due to compliance issues, is whatever that means. In this context, I can't imagine.
That's bizarre.
It is. Hey guys, I want to talk about our good friend James McMahon at Copy My Crypto. Guys, we've seen so many people make ridiculous money from crypto, but did you know it's easy for you to do the same? That's right. The Copy My Crypto membership site shows you the coins that YouTuber James McMahon personally holds and allows you to copy them. It's like having a big brother who knows what he's doing. You don't need to know a thing about crypto or how to invest, as you simply do what he does. So let me tell you about James. He runs the Crypto with James YouTube channel, which despite heavy censorship has over 26,000 subscribers. Since March 2020, he's told his viewers to buy 26 crypto coins. Had you put $100 into each, it'd be well worth over $123,000.
Wow.
Of the 26 coins, his top pick coin called Phantom went up 692 times from when he said. That one call alone has retired a number of people, including guys in their 20s and 30s. Remember, this is public knowledge. You can go to YouTube and verify this yourself. So if you'd like to join the 2,800 members at Copy James, then stop what you're doing and head over to copymycrypto.com/Sam. That's copymycrypto.com/Sam. That's SAM. Okay. You'll not only find proof of everything I've said, but my listeners will get full access for just $1. Once again, that's copymycrypto.com/Sam. The recession is here. You can suffer like everyone else or choose to thrive. James is the real deal. Go visit the site now.
I will say this, the other investment bank that I liked last week, holy shit, I like it more now. Morgan Stanley's at $82, down from 95. I'm loving this company right now. Loving it. So here's the thing. Right now it's just, you don't get these opportunities when there's negative news and people are panicking. That's the best time in the world to buy. Like, there's so many good buys out there right now, like Apple. We bought Apple today close to the bell. It was down well over 2%. Morgan Stanley's down to $82, man. How do you not buy this thing? It has a 4% dividend. They're not going anywhere. So yeah, we're going to be active as shit this week trading because there's just so many. This is a week you make money. We've been waiting for this because volatility has just been sideways. You can't make money when the market's not moving up and down. Oh, we got it moving nicely now. Nicely. The VIX is on fire, the volatility index. Let's see what it did. I think it was up humongous today. You can buy this .VIX, and it was up 12% today, one day. The VIX was at $13 a week ago, now it's at 19. That's a huge, huge jump in a week. 13 to 19 in a week. Fuck, I love the market, man. I love it.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. So what do you think about these strikes? Because they solved the writer's strike, and that day, companies like Paramount, Netflix, and Paramount went up like 2% right after that.
I guess it's not. I guess they have like a basic agreement. They're still working out certain things. I'm happy the strike is over. Again, I don't really watch too much on TV. I just had a lot of my friends who are writers that I wanted to be able to get back to work. We'll see what it means. We'll see how much the writers had concede because it wasn't looking good. And people are getting used not to watching these programs. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens when the writers go back to Bill Maher and Drew Barrymore. And will they bring back the Tonight Show? Will they bring back all these late night shows that nobody's missing at all? It's an interesting time.
Well, did you see that all the late night show hosts started a podcast together?
Yeah, and I mean, just
Weird.
got murdered.
Weird,
they got
really?
murked. They got murked.
Isn't that weird though? Can you remember how competitive that landscape used to be? And it was better for it. It was competitive and it was better for it. And now they're just all jerking each other off.
That's like, you know,
the NBA. It's like the NBA now. That's what it's like.
Yeah, 100%, dude. 100%. That would have been like, you know, Frazier and Ali doing a podcast together, or Larry Bird and Magic Johnson back in the day when they hated each other. You know,
That would have been awesome.
now when I mean, AIDS does that to people. Everyone forgives and forgets, but right? It's just so crazy. Yeah, it's just a sign of like, it was a really sad podcast. They're all bad. I think the worst of them is Stephen Colbert, though. Like, there's nobody who comes off as more unauthentic than that.
He's a fake. Yeah, he's a phony.
I mean, dude, nobody's fallen farther from grace. Jimmy Kimmel's trying to give him a run for his money. But I mean,
as long as he keeps the certain people around him though that are kind of cool, I will be okay with Kimmel. Seems like he employs a lot of
Kimmel
cool people.
was my favorite. Back when he had some teeth and he was murking people, but those days are done. Like, Trump just ruined that whole genre. I mean, Trump just ruined all network television or network comedy.
Yeah, you say that, Sam, but I mean, even like Letterman was always political. He was always political and did shit that I didn't like, but he was funny, dude. That was the core of it. He was still funny. He had balls. And a lot of these guys don't have.
Go after both sides.
I mean, but he was he was very liberal. And it showed every now and then.
I mean, he would call out everybody for being stupid.
I watched him every night. He favored the liberals for sure, and he was just he's just better than these guys. I really just think it's partly like I don't know if that generation's style was better suited to hosting a late night show. Do you know what I'm saying? I think that's certainly possible because you kind of want sort of a serious, like, fatherly figure kind of hosting that thing, who can just cut right to it. Like, it's quick enough to cut to it. And how many of these guys are that quick? I mean, you know what I mean? And none of these guys are that quick, like Letterman and even Leno was.
I also think, guys, that the fear of cancellation has destroyed comedy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just really bad. And, on top of that, you got Instagram deciding who's funny and who's not funny by allowing some people to thrive and others to just get murked, and it's just like, to keep it simple, stupid. And the more stupid the comedy is, the more views it gets. It's just, we're living in crazy times.
No, so I was on Sirius XM last night, and they asked me two questions. They asked, number one, they said, what do you think of the whole Russell Brand thing? And I said, the fact YouTube banned him, I said, there's no more innocent until proven guilty in this country. And the host agreed. He said, no, I agree with you. He said, nobody knows exactly what happened in this situation, and the time frame even makes it worse. So,
listen, we know what happened. Okay, he was a fucking sex addict, and it's like Steve-O said a long time ago: women want to bang famous men more than men want to bang women. That's what his quote is. So this timing stuff is just, again, them trying to silence him, and moreover, trying to send a sign to everybody as if you get out of line, you're gonna get lit up. That's what this is all about. I mean, dude, this is these women coming forward, it's no different than maybe like the one chick had that he didn't use the condom when she wanted him to use condom. That was the basic argument. And then she decided to go through this entire sexual assault program because he didn't wear a condom. And you should wear a condom if somebody wants you to wear a condom, right? That should be it. If a woman wants you to wear a condom, you wear a condom. But she goes through this whole thing. It's just, again, the evidence has all been forged and edited, and not forged but edited. So it's like this is all a psyop.
Here's the thing, right? If he didn't have money and wasn't a popular figure, would this lawsuit be brought?
No,
would attorneys find it profitable for them to spend their valuable time on this lawsuit? Absolutely not.
But this gets into what I'm saying, that cancel culture was never an authentic thing. Nobody No, there was no grassroots movement to cancel people. It was all the illusion of a cancel culture because these corporations wanted to put the fear of God into everybody, that if you can't if you question them or authority or the elites, you're going to lose all your livelihood. And this is what they're trying to do. But we've seen so much evidence that this is all bullshit that people are now going, hey man, what's going on here? And I just think him, Chris D'Elia, all these guys, super duper sex addicts. And
no, he's admitted it. Yeah, I
attracted,
mean, Russell Brand's admitted it. He talks about it all the time.
Women are attracted to power.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll give you a close analogy, and that's this summer, I was at the Saratoga racetrack, and I ran into an old friend, and we knew each other when we were 18, 19, 20. She said, "Do you recognize my friend over there?" And I didn't. I said, "No, I don't." And she walked over and she goes, "Well," she goes, "right before you were heading to college, we were in a bar downtown, and you thought it'd be really funny to come up and slap me in the ass." And I said, "Time out." I said, I just slap it?" She goes, "You slapped it and grabbed it." And I said, "I'm going to be totally honest with you. I don't remember that at all, but it totally sounds like me." So, what are you drinking? She goes, "I'm drinking Budweiser." I go, "How about I go buy you a Bud right now? We call it even." And she goes, "That sounds good. Let's do it." I went and bought her a Bud, and we solved that whole sexual harassment case in about 5 minutes.
That's so stupid.
It's true.
But I should say the Russell Brand thing, I don't think it's a lawsuit yet, but it's obviously headed that way. Because, I mean, they pretending the police are going to investigate it, but it's so long ago. That ain't going to happen. And then I guarantee he's getting sued.
So here's the other thing that we have to talk about. And I really need your opinion on this because I went fucking hard in the paint last night on this question. And the other comedian didn't quite agree with me, but I still went hard in the paint. And this is after talking with my girlfriend, who is a licensed therapist, and we both agreed. Hassan Minhaj, comedian, comes out, does his hour stand up, not with quick Rodney Dangerfield one-liners that they're funny, you wouldn't believe them, but he tells real stories. It would be like me coming out and telling my teaching stories, but yet I never taught. I just made it up. Or I'm living with a terrorist girlfriend and her last name is fucking Spinelli. She's from Italy. That's what it would be like. And he asked me, the host, he said, "Do you think what he did is right, wrong? Is it good for comedy? Is it bad?" And I came out and said, "I think what he did is fucking total scumbaggish." I said, "You can disagree with me, but I said, that's basically like me going on stage and just for an hour lying about everything." And I said, "I have a problem with it." I said, I think it's garbage, bullshit. I said, "I wouldn't even want to start a Ponzi scheme with that guy." I said, "I wouldn't trust him." And that's what I said. And, the other comedian said, "Well,
that's funny, Howie, but I don't know this. Can you tell me what? I'm not a big fan of him. I know Sam thinks he's funny. No, I'm not a big fan though. I don't like the guy.
What's he done? Dude, he is funny, bro.
What's he done though? You saying he's lied about something?
Okay, so basically what came out is that he made up stories of basically racism and prejudice.
Yeah.
He said he experienced some stuff that didn't really happen.
Oh, that's weird, isn't it? Because comedians make shit up. That's part of the art. But
well, it is part of the art. The only problem with this, and again, I like Hassan, is that he's creating. It's basically he's looking for oppression clout, and which is consistent with the liberal progressive left. That they want to paint this country as this awful thing that they have to make up stories to kind of feed into the machine. And again, Johnny and I talk about this on Broken Sim all the time. Some of your favorite comics made up stories. Bobby Lee has come out and said his origin stories are bullshit. He didn't get molested by a guy with Down syndrome. I'm sad about that because that made me believe that Down syndrome people could do anything if they put their mind to it. Okay. But that's not real, but that's also not looking for any kind of clout off that. when you're saying somebody sent you anthrax in an attempt to scare you, that is saying that you are the victim of racism.
Oh, that's one of them. Anthrax.
That's
like
terrorism. Said it to his kid or whatever. Yeah, that's
a federal crime. I mean, that would because that was in the mail. That would be a federal crime that they would have to. Oh, that's.
And he made it up. Said that he got assassination attempts.
That's like making up on stage that you were. I don't know. I don't want to say. That's like making up on stage. I'm not going to think of the obvious example that you were on the Titanic. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
it just doesn't.
Last night. I said that last night. What you're saying, Johnny? I said my problem with that is that you're not embellishing a story. You're fucking lying.
Yeah.
You're just making this shit up. I got a real problem with that.
Yes.
I got a real, I mean, you embellish things, but you got to have something that actually happened to you, and it's got to be fairly close. This dude was just in the host last night said, I have a problem with it too, because think about all of the people, whatever, Indian or people of color, how many people actually
that's it like
that.
That's the whole thing. That becomes everything. Is like this clout chasing, because you're painting America as a misogynistic, racist, homophobic country, and they're making these. It's no different than listen, the Jessimae Sommelier thing. Okay, obviously it's a lot more.
Jessie Sommelier.
You just combined two different. Jessimae Peluso. You just combined her name
Sorry,
with sommelier, which is a word. How do you even know that word? Sommelier. That's a person who's an expert in wine. How do you even know that word?
What is his name?
Jussie Smollett.
Jessimae Sommelier.
Jessimae Sommelier.
He just took a comedian and mixed it with a guy.
I'm so sorry, Jessimae. I love you. I don't think you're faking.
Sommelier.
That's the gay. This is mega country.
Let me write
gay racist attacks in Chicago. But the point is that it's along the line. It's clout chasing. But again, I do believe people need to understand that comedians make up stories.
Yeah.
Now, I wish I could make up a story. So I wish I could make up those stories. My stories have to be based in truth. Now, he goes, some of these stories are things that happen to his friends. Well, my story about Tripoli happened to my buddy, Kevin, in Phoenix, Arizona. And he was like, yeah, I can't make it into a joke. You want to try? And I made it into a great joke. But I do credit that it happened to him, not me. There are comics who basically hijack other people's stories and and that's kind of what he did. But again, when it's this thing where you're a progressive left-leaning comedian and you're attempting to act like it's the same thing with Trevor Noah, acting like he's like the victim of racism.
Yeah.
When he came to America, a multi-millionaire from South Africa, and then he's trying to act like he's constantly feeling the effects of racism. And it's like
Hassan Minaj, by the way, called them his emotional truths, is what that was his.
And that's another problem. I like Hassan. I like him, but now you're scrambling and you're like the Crystalia women who are like, I know my truth. There's no emotional truth and there's no my truth. There is the truth, and that's the only truth. And if you give anything else than that, you're lying.
Should this kid torpedo his chances at the Daily Show?
I think it probably enhances it, actually.
Could be, but I think he's out. The New York Times even wrote a really bad article on him, and they interviewed a lot of people. I think he's kind of screwed. I mean, he'll go on. He'll still do comedy. He'll be fine. But, yeah, I think he's in trouble in that situation. I mean, that's too many. They're not even white lies.
Here's the thing. Whether you're a liberal or a conservative, when you start presenting an idealistic world, right? And you demand that people live up to that idealistic world. When you yourself do not, you will be caught. It will come out. Okay? The same thing with the right and, these homophobic, religious people. on the weekends get busting, sucking off truckers. It's like it all comes out in the wash. If you fake the funk on a nasty dunk, it's going to come out. And guess what? I also know this. Hollywood changes you. Like there's something like there's this desperation to keep what you have to the point that you're willing to BS to keep it. And it's like Hassan obviously could not create enough stuff to fill his Netflix special that he had to lie. And that to me is sad that he got to a place where he felt he had to lie. Because again, I met the guy only one time. We did a gig. He crushed. This was 15 years ago. Crushed. The guy's charismatic. He's a good looking dude. I think he's funny. I loved a lot of his work, but it's like, I have personal friends. I'm not going to say their name, but I have personal friends that did this a long time ago, and it really hurt their career. But the question is this going to hurt Hassan? Because, whatever his name is, the gay guy from Empire still gets invited to like red carpet affairs.
Jessimae Sommelier.
Sommelier.
Jesse Smollett.
I think he made a mistake. I don't think people should ever look to comedians to be some sort of authority, but we are people who the gestures who bring truth to authority. But we should never be put to this super higher standard that you put to your politicians, okay? And and authority. That's my opinion.
Yeah, it's a
Speaking of
difficult one, isn't it?
What do you think of the New Jersey senator? This guy must fucking listen to Sam's podcast all the time. Menendez,
Yeah.
because they found over $100,000 in gold bars in his like underwear
Wow.
drawer.
Who's they?
Wow.
Who found this? What do you mean?
They went and searched his place because he's up on, for the second time in 10 years, he's up on federal bribery charges, accepting money from, where was it? Egypt? One of those countries. I don't want to say the wrong country. I can't remember. But they caught him accepting bribes. They went into his house. They found over $500,000 in cash and over $100,000 in gold bars.
I love his defenses. The cash was not bribes, guys. That's not the bribe cash. That cash is somewhere else. That's his defense.
That's not the bribe cash.
Yeah, that's literally what he said. He said, "This is not from bribes."
That is not the bribe.
Is my cash. This is for an emergency. This is my emergency savings. $500,000.
He's not resigning either. He says, "Wow."
I mean,
why would he, dude? Why would he? Nobody should resign these days. I mean, Al Franken should still be in the Senate. Honestly, I mean,
yeah, Al Franken should have stayed. He should have stayed, but it was just like the height of that stuff.
But I don't know, Sam. Listen, this is right up your alley. We talked about this last night. So, Al Franken, every Democrat wanted him out. You got to resign, you sick bastard. We heard you stared at a girl's ass.
Yeah, I mean, all he did was take a picture with that smoking hot chick like this, like with his hand doing honk honk.
Yeah, on her tits. Now, what happened is like she was touchy-feely. That was her whole thing. They found pictures of her just grabbing like guys' junks and all that stuff because she was just, dude, that was her thing. She was a sex kitten, right? Like her thing was bring sex appeal. She was a Playmate or a Baywatch chick. Obviously, I had a hungry beaver, and that was their relationship. Yeah. They were just fun. They were in a war zone. They're like, we could die. Let me grab some. Let's have fun. It was a different time, and this is what they're doing. They're taking things from the past and bringing it to the future.
But every Democrat wanted Al Franken out. Now let me ask you this: this dude right now, this dude committed a crime. There's no doubt about it. He's got over $100,000 in gold bars in his house with $500,000 cash. And guess what? The senators don't want him to resign. Nobody's saying anything about this guy. Why do you think that is?
Because they all are doing the same shit.
Yeah. How many of these motherfuckers have gold in their houses along with, hopefully they're smart enough to put it into a bank safety deposit box today so they don't get busted.
And if you don't know the story, Franken didn't grab her boobs. She's wearing a bulletproof vest and he's not even touching her. He's just like this. It's not even, I mean, it's so nothing. So that one always annoyed me. I don't even, his politics.
Look up the
completely...
picture. I think he is actually.
No, I'm looking at it right now, buddy. I'm looking at it.
Let's see it.
Okay, I'll bring it up. Huh? He's
But they're
not
saying
touching her, and she's wearing a bulletproof vest. It's crazy.
The only reason the Democrats are not ratting this guy out,
see,
that's a vest.
And he's not touching it, though. Look.
Oh, is that because she's asleep?
Yeah, but because she's asleep, and he took a picture just like, but somebody else took the picture. Obviously, everybody was like, hey, let's take a honk picture, on this bitch.
I thought there were other pictures as well, but that's fine.
I mean, if you Google Al Franken boobs, that's the one that comes up. That's it.
It's not like he's resting his balls on her helmet.
Respect.
Yeah, that's a good one. Bill Maher doing it to Saget. That's funny.
I mean, and they're saying that these senators, the only reason they're not ratting this guy out, and they're just saying, no, he doesn't need to resign, is because he's got shit on everybody. That's what they're saying.
Oh, really? Yeah, that makes sense, buddy.
He's got stuff on everyone. So this could be it. If this Mendez ends up dead, you'll know why.
Huh. Anyway, he better be happy that Hillary Clinton's not in the Senate anymore. That's all I'll say.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
He'd be out of there.
That'll be interesting. So, that's really it for the week. As far as the market, we're getting the steepest sell-off that we've seen in 6 months. And this is healthy. This is good. We've been gaining dry powder and taking profits, banking fatties, and I think we're going to go in hard tomorrow on a couple things too, man.
I just really quickly, the quotes are coming in from Biden's visit to the UAW picket line. I'm going to give you a couple of them. He goes, "You deserve a significant raise. We saved them. It's about time they step up for us." Talking about the automakers there. What else is he saying? He's billing himself the most pro-union president in history. We are, let's see. And then,
can someone please tell me how the Democrats can be pro, and I get in arguments with my liberal friends out here. It's been a long time since I've done this, but how you can be pro-union and pro-free trade. Can you tell me how that works?
Tough one. That's a tough one.
Because they love this. Like, they just love it. They're like, free trade is good. You're like, really? They're saying, well, then why? How can you be pro-union?
Because the unions aren't. The unions aren't at all.
Yeah, it's so stupid, dude. It's so
anyway. Yeah, so Biden out there jerking off the UAW trying to get an endorsement, I'm sure.
Yeah,
he's the first president that's ever gone to a strike.
He's not going to run. They're going to replace him with somebody at the very last second. Very last second.
Hillary.
Yep.
I think so.
Hillary? I thought you said it was going to be Michelle Obama.
Nope, it's going to be Hillary.
Never going to happen. Hillary Clinton will never, ever be on the... that'll never happen. She's so dead.
The plan will be so late into it that nobody can fight. It can't
be her, though. It could be anybody but her.
It's definitely... you could be right, but based on people in the know that I've talked to, they've said they think it's going to be Hillary.
If it doesn't happen, they're not in the know. Can we agree to that?
Okay, that's fine. What's next?
I'll put it in my phone or a year from now. Remind me. What is next? Right. That's really it for the news this week, right?
Let's go to the boys.
What do you think about that Diamond quote, Howie, about 7% interest rates? We headed there?
Possibility, yeah. Absolutely.
What does that do to the economy? That's bad, right?
Yeah, we don't want interest rates. Things really got to slow down quickly here. They'll raise them another quarter basis point next month. But yeah, they could go to 7%. Sure, that's possible.
I thought this shit was slowing down.
Certain areas aren't, man. Certain areas aren't.
What are you looking at this week, Howie?
I'm all over some stuff. I think Apple's a great buy, but I'm all over Morgan Stanley tomorrow, baby. If that's around 81, 82, I'm all over it. Love more. That's an investment bank, not a regular bank, investment bank, where they can do shady shit and make money. And I'm all over them tomorrow.
Right on. All right.
It's all about making money, man. All about making money. That's what we do.
Patreon, Samuel.
All right, guys. The Patreon is where the fire is, where the dirty dancing Havana Nights is. You want to do the forbidden dance? Well, Howie and his new gay haircut? Come on over. to Patreon. Low prices. Everything's got to go. Patreon.com/Cash Daddies.